Okay, so now we're going to talk about narration. The story is told, well, excuse me, it's second person. The story is told from the perspective of one of the townspeople, kind of the collective voice of the citizens of the town. All the narrator really does is tell us about all these things that he knows about Emily, that happened to Emily. We never know what Emily really thinks, but the author, through this narrator, gives us enough information for us to connect those dots. It's pretty clear what she's thinking and what her desires are. So irony, again, kind of just the quick and dirty definition of irony is we know something that the people in the story don't. So one feature of the story that could be considered, excuse my spelling there, I was doing this in a hurry, ironic, is that the people of the town represented by the narrator have no idea that they've contributed or enabled Emily's downfall because of their notions regarding heritage, tradition, hereditary obligations. So what that means is these guys don't get together and have a meeting and talk about, well, how are we going to keep Emily to be this kind of anachronistic feature of our town? I think it's more on a subconscious level because of, I think you would all agree that sometimes we do really have these kind of powerful notions regarding things like heritage, tradition, hereditary obligations, which are actually pretty human things. Another aspect of the story that could be ironic is she finally does get what she wants. The one thing she's always been desired is love. However, her kind of methods are a bit extreme, maybe definite, but certainly not normal. But in the end of the day, she gets what she wants. It's kind of like in Story of an Hour, where we could make the argument that uh, Louise's death actually also sets her free. That's part of that irony there. So, even though her husband comes back, things aren't going to go back to normal, that she's free through her death. So, plot, just a couple things to say about plot. I think we've talked a lot about exposition and how important that is in this story, and I want to kind of just fine tune it a little bit and more about how the organization is. The story is not told in the order the events happen. It's not chronological, which means this happened, then that happened, then this happened. It's very non-sequential. It moves all over the place. Nothing is really told in the order that it happens. I think the author constructs the story in one way, to maximize the shock value of the conclusion. So when you find out that, oh, she's been sleeping up there with dead Homer for who knows how many years, that is pretty shocking. And I think maybe he was kind of shooting for, boy, I didn't see that coming, kind of a moment or reaction. And by telling the story in a kind of all over the place manner, I think the author was also trying to create a sense of the utter madness or insanity of Emily. Presenting the events this way, kind of gives a sense of confusion, things out of balance, things that are off kilter. So finally, I want to talk about theme. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of look at, there's two different ways we could really come at this story, and not that they're exclusive from one another, but they're unique enough. I think we could talk about them. And either one, I think you could really make a good case for and really, focus on. So one theme could be related to ideas associated with the past and how we view the past. The way past is treated in the story is related to these ideas of tradition, monument, hereditary obligation, a duty, a care, those kind of things that are in the exposition. However, some traditions do outlive their usefulness or relevance, just as some ideas about the importance or relevance of heritage. Those are also things that, sometimes there's just no point in doing this anymore. We have to question, why do we keep doing this? A statement of theme regarding these ideas might be something like this, okay? Sometimes commitment to tradition or heritage can be destructive. Well, I think it certainly is for Emily here. And I think that's one of the ways you could also talk about antagonist and conflict. And again, plenty of evidence in this story to support that theme. Another theme might be related to love. The most basic desire for most humans is to be loved and to love. I don't think there's any argument there. Sometimes, though, that desire leads people to do some pretty crazy stuff in the name of love or in the pursuit of love. And we all know that, and some of you could probably tell some stories, but I don't really want to hear them, and I'm not going to tell you mine. So a statement of theme might be The desire to be loved and to love is so powerful in humans that at times they will resort to extreme measures to acquire it. Again, there's an abundance of evidence in the story to focus on and support that theme. So what I want you to take away from this is just here's some sort of key ideas, some ways to kind of break this story apart and look at its elements and actually formulate more developed, more kind of fully articulated ideas about the story. So again, I'm going to post this. I will also just post a hard copy of this, and I hope that you kind of gain something from this video that'll help you as we look at other stories.